Lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me from. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Hi.
Oh, what's up, nerds? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another Aggressively Average episode. We are talking about water that moves with a current swiftly, sometimes not.
Like a
Maybe
faucet?
deep, maybe wide, maybe skinny. We don't know. Talk about rivers, you freaking weirdo.
It's all yours.
It's all yours. So we're talking about river fishing, you guys, and there's no wrong way to fish a river except for drowning, I guess. Is there?
There are.
All right.
Wow.
There's several wrong ways to fish a river. Specifically, we're talking about the right ways to fish a river today. So we're going to talk about wading. You could fish it from the bank. You could go kayak. You could float with your buddies. There's all sorts of different stuff you could do. We want to get into some of the gear, some of the tactics, some of the locales. Where will you find those fish? And yeah, it's some of the journeys that we've been on. We're going to share today as well. And there is a buddy of ours who guides over on the Flat River near Grand Rapids. And his name is Ted. He's awesome. And hopefully we get to go fish with him sometime again soon. He actually put out, I don't know if he posted this video. Paul, did you see that? It was on Instagram. He messaged us. So he messaged us that he went on a trip. They were smacking some pike. He caught a 40-incher. Well,
yes, I saw that.
One of the people he was guiding, he caught a 40. And 40-inch pike, you guys. It's freaking massive.
So I think the record's like 46 or 48. Like
That's
all time.
insane. Just in the flat, man. Nearby river. They're here. The trophies are here. So massive pike. They landed it, measured it out, all that stuff. Really cool. And he sent us a video, and I'll show you this later, Paul, where he let his buddy like row, right? So they're in the inflatable rafts and they're rowing, right? If you guys haven't seen that, really cool. We got a chance to go with him a couple times doing it that way. It's a really fun way to float a river. His buddy like misjudged a rock, didn't see it, totally T-boned it, and Ted went with his GoPro flying overboard, got the whole thing on camera.
He was so gracious about it. He was like, I fell out. Oh, it's fine. I got it on camera, and that's it. That's the whole thing.
You hear the fall. You know when somebody like falls really hard and they're like, huh! You hear, huh! And then he's like, I'm fine. Like freaking.
He was so gracious. If that were me,
would you be?
I'd have been like, Well, that's not gonna be good.
I'd be rowing away. I'd be like, well, we're not getting Paul back in the boat.
That's just
Bye.
But yeah, I mean, it's for your own
That's where
safety.
you live now, bro. Chacho.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, just tons of fun things that you guys can do in the river. Like fall
Like
right out of your
fall in.
raft. But it's an absolute blast. We're really excited to get back to the river. And we're right now kind of like we've been talking about this a lot, like on the market for a river kayak.
And
And
also, my drive is trashed.
oh, and by
So
the way, tell us
the
that
drive
story.
so
I can tell you exactly what happened, but go
we're
ahead.
gonna be very I wanna be very quick here. We have a lot to cover today, but I was
Sure.
Jeff and I were fishing this weekend, and I started getting some weird vibes from my drive. It was like weak, and then it was
Vibes?
fine, and then it was like shaky, and it was fine. I
Yeah.
couldn't put my finger on what was wrong, but it wasn't right. I knew that. So I made it in, thank the Lord. And without having my drive explode. I get home the next day. I'm like, okay, I really need to go look at my drive. So I pull it out. I'm looking at all the cables. I don't see anything wrong. I start
Yeah.
going back and forth, like outside of the boat with the pedals and just watching and listening. And I'm hearing like randomly, just like tink, 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 and then like something fell out of the drive. And I was like, well, that's not great. So I
Right.
like look around, I find it, and it's like this little cylinder. And then I do it again, and like three more come on. I do it again, and like three more come on.
Yeah.
I have a handful of these things now, and I'm like, hmm. I don't know if this is like,
I have
burrs from the factory or like what's going on here. So I posted on Instagram so that like everyone could take a look at it. Jeff took a look and he was like, and somebody else messaged me as well and was like, those are bearings, bruh. And I was like, oh, that totally makes sense.
yeah.
So I don't think bearings are supposed to fall out of your drive. So I'm feeling, I reached out. Actually, I never got an email back. I need to call them.
I
They
have a
probably tried to
contact for
call
you.
me and I like didn't answer because I was working. But I do need to get in touch with a dealer and I need to get it
Yep.
in for warranty. And I'm not going to take it out because I know what'll happen. I'll get out and I'll be the furthest away from the ramp with the most wind
Yep.
at a very inopportune time in a dangerous situation. And my drive will crap out on me. And I'll be like, huh, poop.
Well, coming from somebody where it actually went catastrophically worse at the back end of a lake, I can tell you, yeah, it's not fun. So my cable snapped internally on my
Yes.
drive, and that is not supposed to happen. In fact, the engineer who designed the drive talked me through the whole thing and like walked me through that, which is really cool, and said that that's not like that just
Not ideal.
doesn't happen. It's a catastrophic failure. So your situation, I found out after the fact because I took my drive apart and all of those things fell out of it.
It's
And
exploded everywhere. It's just
luckily I'd
raining.
already warranted it, and they said it was a dead drive anyways. They weren't gonna try and fix it or whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So there's all these little ceramic like tube looking things, and there's like 100 of them per fin, right?
Yeah.
So the Hobie, you have these fins that kind
Yeah.
of like do this, right? So there's a cone that they attach to that helps them rotate. And that instead of using a giant bearing, which would have been $1 billion, they have just a bunch of little pieces of plastic. They're impossible to get back in. So
Mine
yeah,
are out.
yours are out, a couple of them, which means the rest will be out soon. But
Exactly.
if you take it to a dealer, they're supposed to have like a specialized tool so they can hopefully put that back in.
But I
But I
still
haven't got.
have some problem. Like, why were they coming out?
Yeah, something's wrong. Something got
Something's
loose, I would
wrong.
assume, because
I
you
want to
can
be
loose that
like,
drive.
here, fix
Well,
it,
that's what you're
and
gonna
then
do.
they go
Okay.
here, and it's fixed.
Yeah.
Sometime later.
Sometime I don't know. Depends on how busy they are. Maybe in an hour. All right. So let's dive in real quick. Well, very importantly, however long it takes doesn't matter. The Knucklehead Bass series. We have an update from May. Yes, it took a week. It takes a while on the back end to like figure out the finishers and all that stuff. So we have Team Flanders, Team Stark, the top 3 finishers. As promised, we said we were giving out prizes from our wonderful sponsors. Wonderful folks like Monster Bass and Busby and Akuma are taking care of us, and they're hooking up our top 3. So number 1 prize will be one of the bigger prizes. Number 2, we've got something lined up from Busby for both teams. And then number 3 is going to be an MB gift card. So how we're doing it, Paul and I decided this behind the scenes, is the team with the overall longest length, right, for number 1. So the whatever biggest
Greatest
fish
length for both teams. So
for
this
between both
month,
teams,
yes.
that team which was, I'll tell you in a second, drum roll please, which was Team Stark.
Correct.
Right? Team Stark took home the longest length, and that was thanks to Elizabeth Zervos, who had
Beast.
an average fish length.
This is
Average, you
insane.
guys. Think about this.
This is 108.5 inches official. The average for that on 5 fish. Jeff, hit him.
21.6 inch average.
I am aghast. My jaw is unhinged.
She knocked
So
him dead,
impressive.
dude.
So impressive.
So yeah, that was awesome. So Elizabeth, congrats, fantastic. She took home the number one spot on the number one team for the month. We got 4 months, right? So far, Team Stark, check one.
Careful. Michael
Mm-mm.
Musgrove coming in at 103.25 for Team
on
Flanders.
both teams too.
Dude,
But
just beast though. Like, oh
Yeah.
my, that's so it's 20-inch average. Unreal.
So let's run through the winners, then we can dive into the show. By the way, if we call your name out for the winners, and you already should know who you are because you checked the leaderboard. Obviously, this is a tournament. We need your info, so you got to email us. Charles will put the info up on the screen. Get us your contact info so we can connect. Get your address. We have some stuff to ship your way. So number one, I'll start with Flanders team. Is Michael Musgrove, 103.25, taking home some Waterland shades. So we've got a couple pairs from Waterland for each month. Like we're going to give out one pair each month. And like I said, we decided we'll go with the highest value prize to the longest fish on that team, right? To the biggest team each month. So that could switch, flip-flop each month. We're just going to keep some variety alive for you guys for the prizes. So Michael Musgrove taking home the Waterlands. Number 2 on Flanders, we got Charles.
Hold on.
What?
Someone made a point, Get
Mhm.
Fishing made a point like, hey, Elizabeth decided to go on Team Gramps
Mhm.
for the tournament down in November, and Michael
Yep.
Musgrove decided to go with Team Guida for, again, down in November. That's totally cool. We've been talking with KBF about that. So we are. It's not. I don't think we have it finalized yet. Do we have it? We have who it
Nope.
is because I think it's. I don't think it. We're still working on it. So we have to figure out for like 1, 2, and 3 because a lot of these people are on different teams. Which team they want, and they kind of take some time to get a hold of those folks.
Yep.
They play the phone tag game. They have to make their choice about which teams they're going to choose to be on. So yes, we are hearing that information. We just don't want to say anything because about who's going to be what yet. We know who it might be. I just don't want to say yes to anyone from that standpoint until it's finalized. So just to be clear, we're not saying that, but those folks paid money. They got the highest, score, and we really wanted to honor the fact that those people are eligible for the prizes. So if they paid a bunch of money to be in these tournaments and they won for the month, even though they're going to be on different teams, we're still allowing those people, unless they decide to, pay it forward, they are going to get the first, second, third place prize. So that's why we're kind of announcing it the way it is. But it's a great call out. We just want to make sure everybody knows that we just want to make sure that people are getting the prize they feel like they deserve, and we're not going to, just because they went to another team, not give them our first place prize.
Yeah, we're not going to shuffle that around. The only thing that will shuffle is the potential opportunity to win 10 grand, right? So like they can pick whatever team they want. Fine. So we don't know who's fishing with us yet. That'll be told to us by Mr. Hoover. So we're going to just wait until that happens. Currently, though, we know the top 3 standings on each team. So we're doing these prizes. So Charles Corey, we're going to get you something from Busby, second place on Flanders team, third place on Flanders team, our boy Rocca with 95 inches, and we're going to get him an MB gift card. So we're going to send that your way, buddy. And I saw some of the fish he was hooking up, man. He did good. Team Stark, Elizabeth Zervos, like I said, you're going to be getting an Akuma reel and a hat that, you should enjoy for sure. Michael Musgrove with a 103.25 inch, second place on my team, on Team Stark. Getting something from Busby as well. We got a little combo package coming your way. And then Charles Corey again on this board in third place with 100.75 inches with an MB gift card. So get your info over to us, you guys, and we will take care of you. Definitely appreciate all the people that repped both teams. That was really cool to see. So you're adding that extra support. Remember, 33% of our proceeds is going to autism anglers. So it's the month of June, y'all. You better be getting in this game. There's still 10 grand on the line in November, and you can come fish with us. Or have an opportunity to. There's still prizes like we just talked about: Waterland, Busby, Monster Bass.
This will be the same prize pack for every month. We set it up so that each month these same 6 prizes will go to the top 3 for both teams. So, like, you have your
Yep.
shot at a Busby box or, like, the cube and a rod sleeve, MB gift card, a pair of sunglasses, or an Akuma reel. Like, that's the setup for all 4 months.
There you go. So, all right.
And legitimately, like, I know we focus on the top 3 and we're showing some love to the folks who absolutely crushed
Appreciate
it.
everybody.
We appreciate every single person that is participating with us. We are participating at a very low level because we don't get to fish enough, unfortunately.
Yep.
And I have legitimately, we had the holidays, we had family time, just like all of you guys do too. We need to make more time for it in June, though. We really do.
Yeah, you say that in
I
like
know,
the
every
second
month.
to and the third busiest month that
I've
we're
been
coming
saying
up
it. I
to.
have been saying it since we started.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if we could just fish every day?
Even just
Neat.
for a week.
Anyways, so appreciate everybody for participating. Jump back in. There's 3 more months
Thank
to
you,
do
though.
this.
Yes.
And you should be thanking people like Elizabeth and Michael for going to these other teams because
Yeah.
that slides the team spot for our teams down the line. So eventually y'all are going to be on our teams. So definitely keep fishing. All right, let's get into some river stuff, shall we?
No, we shall
Little Q
not,
of the
because we have the
D.
Q of the D, and the Q of the D is a little bit hyper specific. We
Okay.
have 2 rods that I'm looking at bringing in-house to do a little bit of testing. I put some mega hours on the TFO rods. I put some
Mhm.
hours on a couple of reels the last couple of weeks. And actually, one of them was the Psycho Stick. There's 2 versions of Psycho Stick that I just hadn't used. And I was like, I need to like have a dead on, like really strong opinion on this rod. And I can only do that by putting like, 20, 30 fish onto it. And then all these rods, the kind of final test for reels for me has been catch catfish on it. Like, let the drag do some serious horsepower like
Mhm.
work. Then I'll feel like, okay, I have a good idea of how
Yeah.
how things are going to go down. So the 2 rods that I'm curious about though and testing next, one of them is, and this one's really specific. So Chaz, could you pull up that Daiwa, that gray one? So this rod is the Daiwa Tatula Elite. It's a spinning rod. The thing about this rod, and this doesn't, Chaz is
Juicy.
showing you the grip. Look, if you look really carefully about this grip, you're going to notice something that is so unique, and I have not seen anywhere else. I'm sure it probably is, but I just have not seen it, and no one else makes a grip like this. The rod, where the reel comes down, actually ends up being by your pinky, which is how I hold all my spinning rods,
Mhm.
regardless of what they are. And most of the grips are like behind the reel, like where the reel connects. I've never in my life, not even when I was 0, held the rod, like, behind it, like you're supposed to, like some kind of, it feels so weird to even do carrying it around, and
Yep.
so all the grip, the actual grip point is beyond the reel seat. I'm really interested to try this. I wanna try it super bad. These are on clearance right now, $150 at Tech Warehouse. They're like 30, $40 off. Super nice rod from
Rad.
what I've heard, but the grip is what I'm really interested to try and see if it's as good as I think it, might be.
Yep.
So that was option 1 for me.
Okay.
Option 2 was the TFO Professional Series casting series. I've not used one of the TFO casting rods yet, and I've not
Yeah.
used the professional line. I've used what's the Tactical Elite, which I really liked, and I've seen a lot of reviews on. I've seen basically no reviews other than a couple from Ben on the professional series. So I'd really like to get one. These are like more in these are $120. So I think these are like mid tier, mid range is what I'd put them at.
Mhm.
And I'd really like to try one of these out. So I guess, Charles, can you put a voting out
Poll.
there? The TFO, a poll for the TFO versus the Tatula Elite. Which one people want to see? You guys let me know today, and we'll go pick that one up, and we'll do some testing. So that's what
Fair
I'm
enough.
into right now. Nerding out hardcore.
All right. Interesting twist on a Q of the D where we just do like a poll
I like
instead.
it.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Cool. So shall we talk about river
Yes.
stuff?
I thought we would talk about our favorite way to do it first.
Okay.
Um, and so for me, Jeff, what is your favorite way to fish the river? If you're going to do it one way forever,
One way forever it's gotta be waiting. It just
I
has to
think
be.
for me, wet waiting too. Like
Yep.
to me, it's like one, it assumes that you're pretty much going to have warm weather because really, when the
Right.
water's going to be low enough that you can actually do it the whole time, you're talking warm weather. So you're already speaking my language. I also love the idea of wet wading with like no net. You're right next to the nature.
Yep.
and you're giving all the fish a bear hug. I love that. And there's always that sense of adventure of being like, do I really want to stick my foot in this hole right now? Am I going to do this? Or like if the water's too deep, you got to make that decision. Like, am I swimming around or
Yeah.
am I not, right? Am I just going to turn around, pack my stuff up and go home? So I would also wet waiting for me, and not just waiting, because like I actually hate waiting in waders. I'm a wet waiting guy. I want to do it. I want to get my toes wet.
I say waiting in general because I don't mind waiting in waders.
Sure.
Assuming they're comfortable, they don't have a hole in them like mine do.
Or mine.
But if they're or yours, basically both pairs of
anything
waders
that you use,
I've worn recently have holes in them. But yeah, I mean, if it's colder weather, obviously I want to wear waders, but like I just like you said, just being in the water with the fish, with the nature. And I've definitely had those times where you're waiting and I'm like, this is a spot and I need to get a closer casting position and I will go up to my chest for this. And you're just like casting way up here. It's a blast. It's totally worth it. So if you said, hey, you can only fish the river one way forever and ever, I would 100,000% say waiting. It's just different. Now I love kayak fishing the river too.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's
So
number
there's
two.
The Hobie, assuming that the water's deep enough, and you can run your pedal kayaks, or like I was saying in the beginning of the show, if we get into a paddle kayak that's like really nice, really maneuverable, we've been looking at a few on the market, and we haven't tried the Crescent yet. I feel like we're definitely assuming that they're there on demo day at ICAST. We'll get a chance at ICAST, and if not, I know a place near-ish here. It's like 2 hours away. So got a little bit of a trip ahead of us, but they do carry a lot of Crescents. They do have a lot of the Shoalies, so I'm hoping we can get into one of those. And then we tried the RVR from Bonafide, which I did like. I liked it a lot. I would never make a decision without weighing all the options and like physically testing them, which is what we recommend to you guys too. And we talked about that on the kayak episode. So yeah, let's get into the river stuff then. I guess start out with like how we like to fish. Go with like the waiting. You want to talk gear? What?
I need another vote first. We're at 50-50 split. You're gonna make me
you guys,
vote.
how
Okay,
are we gonna,
phew. Oh God. I was like, I'm gonna have to get both. What is this?
TFO by a hair. What the hell?
Lord. All right, sorry. And we're back. Jeez.
Oh, all right. So real quick, while you guys get 5 more seconds to fix this vote, did we do it? We did it. 51% to the TFO.
Do we have to
and
do
48% to Daiwa.
Is that the deal? That's so
I feel
close.
like that's what they're telling us. They tried
That's
to
what
do
I
this
heard.
on purpose. Collusion. Anyways,
it's rigged in my favor, sort of not.
Speaking of rigged, we do have a schmiveaway at the end of the show, you guys. So you might want to. Scott Vermonter is going to win. So if you could just invite all of the Scott Vermonters to the chat, so that one of those Scots can win. No, we do have a schmiveaway for you guys. I didn't even call it at the beginning of the show. There's so much news to talk about. But Monster Bass always gracefully supplying us with gift cards. So we have a Schmift card for somebody at the end of the show. You guys know the rules. If you break the magic number that's in my head, that's over 124, then we might do an extra schmiveaway as well. That's a good one, right? Somewhere in the realm above 124 viewers, and maybe we'll
less than 126. We'll talk about it.
Throwing giveaways out right now because we got all the stuff from Knucklehead Bass Series too. So I mean, we're here to hook you guys up. I mean, that's basically like the number one reason we exist.
I sent my giveaway from last week, and I was like, bro, this is such a good deal. Like, this is easily $100 worth of stuff.
Showing up and getting stuff, yeah, of course, it's always a good deal. What are you talking about? How could that be a bad deal? Speaking of good deals, Feather_Outdoors, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Just wanted to call it out. He just said, hey, glad to be here after missing a few weeks. Appreciate you being here as well. All right, let's talk river fishing. So start with gear.
I think so.
Gear are we throwing?
Well, so that's I actually just made a video on this, so I feel like I'm kind of brushed up, so to speak, on the wet waiting
Monster
for
Bass.
Monster Bass. I just made this video. For me, there's kind of like 2 routes to go. You can go the very cheap route with a lot of stuff, or you can go the very expensive route. And that's the same thing with pretty much everything in life. But I feel like there are very stark differences with the wet waiting crowd, like which type you are. I think there's a couple things you can't go without. One is going to be, you got to have some foot protection. Like that one is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I used to do the barefoot, but after having that piece of shale, when I first started, and I would wait, like go through the Jackson River or the river in
You
Jackson and the Grand. Yeah, yeah, all the time, all the time.
you
Yeah,
guys, you guys.
that wasn't, but
this
yes,
this
yeah.
human man goes barefoot through Jackson. What is
Like,
wrong with you?
look, man,
Look,
I'm.
look, man. Just like my opinion that you
Was
need to
this
be
the same
barefoot.
piece of water? We pulled a laptop out of the
I
water. Out
know.
of
That's what I'm saying.
the.
You have so many lithium batteries just juiced up in your veins right now.
Hey, it is what it is. I made it out alive. But you
Crocs,
need some foot
barely better.
protection. You need some foot protection. I did upgrade
Yeah.
to Crocs. I do not recommend Crocs for
No,
two
neither do
reasons.
I.
One, the grip is horrific when wet. Two, I did have a piece of shale go through my foot, and that was horrendous. So I never
Yep.
wore Crocs in the river again. And they do tend to fall off, and you have to like grab them while they're floating away. So like
Even
I
in
would
four-wheel
definitely.
drive.
Yeah, I wanted 8-wheel drive. They were gone. And I would say for sure, I think old pair of shoes, like old pair of sneakers, is a great option. Super, super, super highly
Yep.
recommend option.
Limping Fisherman just said it.
Yep,
The old shoes.
costs basically nothing and works great. So
Yep.
I do recommend now. There are a lot of other options. You can actually just wear a pair of wading boots. They're not that expensive, but they're all going to be over
Yep.
$100. And those, it's kind of nice though because they do fit with your waders. So if you have a pair of waders and that's how you choose to wade,
Double duty.
you could double duty. You could just wear them. You socks, no
Which
socks. It doesn't really matter.
I've done it a few times. I will also say I tried out the neoprene sockies, and they're fine. I don't mind them. You're still gonna get like sand in them because
100%.
it comes up your ankle, right? So it's like wearing loose ankle socks essentially. It doesn't really solve the problem. They weren't that expensive, so I didn't care about it. But I'll wear them from time to time, especially if I wear the boots. But if I'm wearing like what you're probably going to say next is like you can get some nice water shoes. We picked up a pair of Danners, which were on clearance at the time. They're like $150 shoes. We got them for under.
Normally, we got them for 70.
It was insane. So
It
it was a
was
no-brainer, 50% off. We picked those up and we've been wearing them ever since. They're kind of like a sock type shoe. They slip on. They don't have like a loose tongue. It's all like
A water
one piece.
moccasin / tennis shoe. I actually wore them on a kayak fishing video trip with Monster Bass 4 days
You wore them this weekend.
straight. And I just
Yeah.
wear them like regular shoes. I don't even
Yep.
think about it. In and out of the water. Doesn't matter. They're wonderful. But there's like a lot of different options. Anywhere from like the $200 range for like the Orvis wet wading. It's made for wet wading boot. It's very nice, very cool.
They're
But you go all the way down to like just a Croc if you really want to, or just an old pair of tennis shoes. That's the way to go. But that's like you must have. So that's the first thing. Next thing you must have. I mean, obviously, other than a rod, we'll get to that in a
Shorts.
second.
Pants.
Shorts, sure. We'll talk shorts. So we'll go from the bottom up. You need some kind of shorts.
Bird
Swim
dogs.
trunks. Just bird dogs are great. Swim trunks are better. I'll be honest. Swim trunks is the way to go.
Disagree.
Like pair of swim shorts, sure, whatever. But you need a pair of
When
shorts.
you got gams, like I got gams, like you get chafing's a massive problem.
I feel ya.
I love bird dogs or any type of shorts,
like a lined soft,
any type of shorts with
neoprene
a
short.
soft liner that dries quickly. Awesome.
Chubbies,
Money.
sure, people are calling them out.
Mhm.
But just any pair of shorts is fine, but I do recommend something that's going to dry up eventually, which is why I don't. That's like a big drawback from the bird dogs. They take like 600 years or a dryer
got the wrong
to
pair.
really get dry. The next thing you really need is something to hold your baits and your maybe some of your limited fishing tools. And that, like Ocean State Angling said it, like fanny pack for the win. Here's the problem with a fanny pack. The nice thing about a fanny pack is that it does work as like a sling pack. So if that's how you're doing it, great. I'm not that tall, and I'm always getting into the nasty water, so it's going to be fully submerged. So as much as I like a hip pack or a fanny pack, a sling pack for me is what I would recommend to pretty much everyone. Now you can get away with one of those like drawstring backpacks. Like if you're really all about that chief life, like you can get away with it just fine, no big deal. But there's some significant advantages to even just a very simple sling pack. There's a couple things like about the sling pack, and the reason I recommend it. When you slide the sling pack around, you don't have to take anything off, and then it creates like a little workspace for you right at chest level, which I really, really, really like. The other thing is, you could clip things to the sling pack, usually right here by your shoulder, and that would be like a pair of. This is my other recommended tool: is a pair of scissors and plier combo. So that when you only have one thing, put it on a zinger, so it's like attached to you. You do all your work, zing it back, and now you're very like it's a one-hand operation to grab a fish and then do all the things you need to do to unhook that fish and release it. That is a huge win.
That combo is not an expensive combo. We're talking about like these split ring plier.
I have them. Hold on.
Combo cutters. Yeah, Paul is grabbing them. They're essentially $2. I'm sure on Temu they're 28 cents.
These are $4 to $5. You can get them for
Yeah.
$9. You can get a 3-pack.
Go get them. If
These
you
are
guys don't
great,
have
but you can
these, you
see
need
they
'em.
have a little plier piece,
Yep.
but they have a braid cutter and they have a split ring. Like this is the deal. And they weigh nothing.
Yeah, they're awesome. So yeah, I heavily support the sling pack. It does not need to be waterproof unless you're
No.
going like deeper water.
The
We've gone on
only-
trips.
Yeah.
We've gone on trips where we've basically used it because it'll retain air if it's like ultra watertight. So we use the Fish Pond Thunderhead. People ask us about them all the time. So mine's like
They're
the bright orange one.
$150 though. They're not
It's
cheap.
$150 is what I was getting at. They are waterproof. They hold air in them. You can use them as a life raft, and we have and
done it
floated
before.
downriver
It
a little bit.
works.
It works
Yeah.
really well.
They
So if
also
you're going
hold a
into, like,
net.
deeper-
They also
Yeah.
hold a net.
They have the net loops on the back, so you can do all sorts of stuff.
No,
and then they got
there's
some
a
zipper
s-
pockets and all that. Well, there's a sleeve.
slide. There's a sleeve
inside
for
the
a net,
back
which
of
is
it.
dope,
Yep.
and it actually has an attachment for you to carry a pole. It's freaking awesome.
Mhm.
But like that's the extreme. We're talking about there are
For
extremes
sure.
here. So I think like a fanny pack is great, and actually Ocean State Fishing made a great call. Like it makes it so that you're not carrying as much. That's so mule fishing of
100%,
you. I
as long as
totally
You can keep
respect.
it up.
Well, yeah, but a fanny pack you can wear as a sling pack. That's how I would wear the
Mhm.
fanny pack. It's just a lot smaller. So I totally respect
Not that Fish
It's
Lab
just
one.
it just do whatever works for you. I mean, you
Yep.
can use a backpack. It just comes with a lot of like tactical problems. It becomes a two-handed operation to do a lot of things versus everything with sling pack is slides to the front, slides to the back. You're not
Yep.
taking anything off, and it is mostly dry. So, anyways,
What-
that's a big
what-
one for
What are
sure.
what are the chances that we could find some river wading packs on Temu?
It's a Temu.
Clint, I messed up. Every time we say Temu, that has to happen.
And so,
What if I
we
clicked it
could.
again? Would you be
We
mad?
could. Everyone's asking about the lightsaber rod holder. That was, in my estimation, a horrific buy. Jeff, where are you at?
I disagree. It's a great buy, and I'm super stoked about it. And I'm going to use it
Can't
next
wait
time we go
to
out.
never watch you use it. This is great.
I'm going to use it.
My the next thing you're gonna need, before we get to baits, I would say is rod selection. And Jeff and I maybe have differing opinions on this one. I'll throw mine out there. Right after I say Ramon Outdoors, thanks for the $5 super chat. He says, "What's up, boys?
Cheers.
Whenever I'm in the river, I use a chest pack, specifically the marsupial chest pack. Stay fishy. Respect, understand. I don't like the chest packs, but I fully understand and respect it. It's a better call than a backpack for
Yeah.
sure. Everything is second to me to the sling pack. That's just my opinion, man. But that would be my number two, actually. Would be my number two.
It's a pretty
Totally,
rad looking pack,
yes.
though.
They are
$95.
sick.
Go
They're
hunt.
so cool.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yep.
But you get rod selection. So for me, I am a single rod, and I'll tell you why. Two
It's
rods.
just better.
Two rods. I tend to one of them has to be clipped onto you, and you got to manage it, and you're always getting hooked on stuff, and so you're basically just
Mhm.
opening yourself up to damaging or losing a rod. I don't like that. Two,
Mhm.
I get with one, I find what works, and I never use the other one. I never switch ever, and so I've never been like, thank God I brought two rods on a river trip waiting ever. Not
I
once.
almost feel like I would bring. I'm actually down for the two, and the reason I'd be down for the two is that I'd have in the pack just enough mule plastics where, like, let's say I want to run on the ultralight spinning setup, I'm going to be running like the Jig Donkey Tail Junior, and then or the Bronco Blade, right? So I have like two
Yep.
rigs that I want to throw for the day, and on the BFS, I'm running ultralight cranks and MEPS inline spinners. And I could just have like the main ones that are working rigged up on each, and I can just switch.
And I never switch. I never do.
No, I mean, that's because you
I'm not
never
saying it's wrong. It's a
bring more than
preference.
one.
It's a preference thing. Like there's a reason for it. My
Yeah.
recommendation to people, experienced or otherwise, would be just stick with one.
Simple
I mean,
to start.
yeah, stay easy. I think the slimmer and
Mhm.
trimmer you go, the better, in my opinion. Again, just my opinion.
Man.
So that's it for rod selection. If you can go to, I would never three. That's or more.
Oh.
No more than two. You're
What
just
if you
asking
took
for
what if you
trouble.
took what is that tube carrier? It's like the
The
rod
rod
runner.
mule?
The rod runner? I think it's
Sure.
the rod runner.
Okay.
But you just took that with you. down the river.
I'm
You have a
not an
bazooka
ex-
case with like 6 rods. And you're
I'm
like, all right,
already. I was. You had me. You lost me.
all right. Hear me out. You be my caddy. We'll have 6 rods. I'll be like, what do you
else do you
think
need?
under this
Let's talk
tree?
bait. So let's talk bait storage real quick. So there are no belt loop rod holder, man. The belt loop, that's worse than the backpack rod
Ramon
holder.
Outdoors. I'm with you, bro. Let's do
I'm
it.
not. I don't
Belt loop,
understand you
rod,
guys. Makes
holder.
no
Let's go.
friggin' sense. Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk bait. I think bait management is kind of a big deal. Now you could just throw your baits in. I did that for years. I just went on a couple of trips where I've used one of the Mule Quick Cubes, the medium deep,
Uh-huh.
and it's a game changer. It's a big game changer. I'm so much faster getting a hold of my stuff. I do recommend, even if it's just like a larger Ziploc bag or whatever,
Yep.
having your baits in a bag is a game changer. It
So
just
they're not
separates your
all
terminal
over the
tackle,
place. Yeah.
separates your terminal tackle and any tools that you have in there, and then also separates you from your hard baits and makes it really easy. So
like
that one is
any
for me.
zipper bag would be ideal. So whether you're taking a chest pack, fanny pack, sling pack, blah blah blah, it doesn't matter. You get one of those, like, remember when MB used to do bags, you guys? RIP. You can take one of those and like you're good.
I'll give you the perfect alternative.
Do it. Amazon ones?
Yes.
I know what it is.
This is perfect.
These are actually decent, you guys.
$1 a piece for this. These are really
fishing.
solid. They have the flat bottom. They fit quite a bit. I think 10. This is a whole day of river fishing and then some. Like, this is perfect.
Especially if you take your mule stuff, you guys. You need like one magic multi-pack of DT juniors, one magic multi-pack of DTs, and then one magic multi-pack maybe of Crosser or
but this is a great option if you're going to be like me. You take a bunch of stuff. I like this.
I have one issue with that. I actually don't do that. I'd rather have the sling pack with the plastics loose in the bag than that, just because when you take that out, because it has to like open up, stuff falls out in my boat all the time.
I'm with you. So you know what I did?
Standing in the river.
So I don't take it out. And I don't unzip it the whole way. All I do is open it. So I have it oriented. This is how my sling pack sits
on your sling pack direction.
And I just do it like this. And I go through everything. Nothing falls out or moves. And then I close it back up. Like, just do this. And then I'm out.
Fair enough.
It worked. I love it on my boat. Really good.
I don't like it on the river. But there are plenty of other solutions for sure. Yeah. And, the Harmony bags are fine. Or if you got a small enough sling pack, there's, everybody makes a sling pack. Like, you can find one that you guys like. And what Paul's talking about too is like the way most of them, if they're meant for fishing, for example, are oriented.
Right here.
Yeah, go ahead. So you have it slung up on your back, and then you swing it up underneath, so the opening is right in front of you. So he's not talking about like a chest pack, but yeah, very interesting. Do it. Do the magic thing.
When I want to get a bait, I'm just doing this. And now I have.
Yep.
See how it's flat? It's because it connects here on the side, and the reason it does that is this exact reason. So I do my thing. Flip it, zip it back up, and then boom, it's gone. But the nice thing is when you do this, you stick your reel in this little space, and you stick your rod tip out this way. Your rod tip's right where it needs to be. You can do all your tying and stuff, and you have like this little workbench. It's wonderful.
The workbench is the key word I used for sure. Love it. So that is the Fish Pond Thunderhead. Again, that's like the higher end bag. What we're saying too is there's plenty of other sling packs. Lots of brands out there. You go to Dick's Sporting Goods, you can find like Samurai Tackle.
The Allen one is fine. And it doesn't, dude. Orvis makes a whole bunch of them that you can find 2 or 3 year model old ones. And they're like $50-$60. They're worth easily 120. And I still have mine because I don't want to get rid of it. It's so great, dude.
Go on Marketplace because fly fishing is one of those things, like when people buy a boat that they like instantaneously regret and get rid of. But when they get into fly fishing, they buy all of the things. So you can buy like all the materials you need for fly making. So you can tie any fly you want because somebody had to get rid of it because they're like, oh, my hobby sucks or whatever. Fly rods all the time. I picked up a few nice ones on Marketplace back in the day, and sling packs and gear and all that. Just like anything else. You can find it all on Marketplace. As long as you're willing to message with an insane person.
That's the one. Is this available? No.
Did you ever watch that TikTok guy who was
one of my favorite? He's like, I have that same gold lamp. What? I don't care. Like, it's insane. Okay, so that The next thing I will say is I do keep my hard baits and my terminal separate from
Yes.
my soft baits.
You mean you don't put your hooks in a bag?
So, and I don't just leave them loose.
Dummy.
So this is our. I know I'm like King Busby here, but like this is all we're using. I used to use
Ew,
all
quit
different
repping that
kinds and cheap
brand.
ones and all that. But some sort of thin. This is their thin series. Some sort of small
Yep.
box. Smaller than this, certainly you can get away with. I'm actually using a bigger one right now, just because I'm not carrying a lot of plastics and it fits. So I have the bigger one. I use the 21 or 24. This is the 8. But this is great. I mean, this allows you to carry 10, 15 baits minimum with some terminal in here, no
Mhm.
problem. So one box and then one set of plastics is usually
To rule
all
them
I
all.
ever take.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Colony 8T. If you guys are looking at Busby, Flambeau makes them. You can get them at any tackle store. I think it's technically considered the 3,500 size box. It's like the downsized one or
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, it's like this one of the smallest
Edge for
boxes you
terminal
can
is
get.
is the old one I used to use. So Stephen Pratt asked the question. That's exactly. I still have it over here because it's great. It's super thin. It's small. Does bait and terminal. It's a really great option for sure. For terminal, I started using these. I just keep these with my plastics now, and I just keep like 4 or 5 of a couple different sizes. So like
100%.
this is a great option if you save
Or
these from what you bought before, or you have a bunch of them for cheap. This is a good option.
yeah, if you want to package loose terminal, that's a great option. Well, this is like a Mylar bag or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so like that's a great option. Otherwise, if you buy, especially if you're doing ultralight stuff, highly recommended. We've been doing this now, you guys. Keep the original packaging of your hooks and weights.
I do it all the time.
And most of the time they have like a little stick on the back, right? So you can peel it open, take out one hook, peel it shut.
That's great.
Good.
I do it all the time.
That is the money move. I've been doing that for my BFS kit this whole time. So that's the way to do it.
Or fast flats, because that's what I use for all my terminal.
The smaller
on my
fast
boat.
flats.
Yeah,
yes.
the small one. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah,
and then that way, if you ever get wet, like if you had the whole Busby kit, most of your stuff would remain like 90% dry. If you only got like a little bit wet, like all your baits and stuff could be dry. It's such a good kit. So cool.
The one box to stay away from, I was going to call this out, Ramona Outdoors did, is the Plano Edge Micro. So these dropped 2 years ago at ICAST, 2021, we saw them. And when we first saw them, the first instinct that we had was like, oh, cool. And then we opened it up, then we played around with it. And then we saw the price tag because we asked the guy, we're like, okay, like, but what are these going to be? $30. And I was like, no, what? And like the jigs, they had a little snap in for the jigs. I like the magnets in there. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. So it's not loose. Everything honestly should just have magnets in it. Like it just makes it easier to manage terminal, for example. And then like if you drop your terminal, like maybe the magnets held it. But the micro is just, it's hyper specific to like ice or flies. Mostly it's built for that. And if you're going for conventional, it's not really ideal for anything that you're going to run. Are you going to take all of your Ned jigs and like just put them?
Insane.
No.
It's
so
insane.
Yeah, no.
But like small jig boxes work great. Like Feather Outdoors just said, these are the premium options. So just please, guys, don't go out and spend $1 million to wade the river.
For you guys.
You can. We're just giving the whole spectrum. The $6 like just snap closure one. I have a bunch of. I use those for years. They're great. There's nothing wrong with them. So just go cheap with this one, because for me, this is a place where I would recommend to most people, unless you're going to use this for some other application, go cheap, because it's just, you're still getting the same amount of fun. You don't really need the super nice stuff. It's not a big deal.
And if you fall and lose all your stuff, it doesn't hurt as bad.
No, it doesn't.
Or like, let's say you're kayaking down the river with your friend and your rod gets pulled up out of your kayak and disappears, and you just bought that rod. Maybe you go cheaper. Don't get like the Dobbins combo. Anyways,
baits. Let's talk baits real fast, like super fast. We'll go with like Jeff. What are your top 3? Jeff, what are your top 3 baits that are always gonna be in tote when wet wading the river?
Yeah, so the fish catchiness things, if I'm wet wading, is I need to have some Neds, some Mule products, and I need some inline spinners. Like those 3. If I have those 3, I can catch every fish in the river, from your smallmouth, obviously the ideal, to your pike to any sort of panfish. like to walleye. Remember
Yeah.
we were fishing the dam with
Yeah.
Ethan. Like I caught a freaking nice walleye just at the dam. You can catch anything, man. But
There's only
specifically with the mules, like if you have let's say the spectrum of mule products, it
Yeah,
just makes
yeah.
it super easy. But if I have the jigs and then I have some Bronco blade spinner arms, then I can like put those two together. Some DT juniors. I love the donkey tail juniors are great when the flow isn't insane. And I'm wet waiting, right? So I can just walk up, flip it under a tree, catch fish like every single time. There have been days where Paul and I have hit a stretch of river where it's like knee to maybe up to waist high, and we can hit like any spot where these trees are and we're catching fish. Those are like 80 fish days and it's bonkers. And you change your DT once, twice, like it's insane. So absolutely every time we hit the river, the primary part of my pack is taken up by mule fishing. Yep. But yeah, and then like your Neds, always great if I need to slow down, if I find some pools, some deeper spots, I'm looking for those Neds. Preferably I'm throwing the EWG style. So I got like my Ned locks, whatever. And then the MEPS. So if I need moving baits, like my number one go-to, that's a cheat code essentially, is your inline spinners. Just throw those. And in our Michigan rivers, like I can never go wrong with the white and chartreuse aglias.
The only thing, there's only two things I would add to that. One is a micro popper. The other thing I would add
three.
I know.
I said three.
I'm saying
Okay,
there's only
what are
two
your
things
three?
I would add to that. One would be a
Okay.
micro popper, and one would be a very small, not a Ned, but like an open hook jig, skirted jig. Like I
Hard
really like
agree.
having a skirted jig if I get away with it. But yeah, I mean those
Like the
five
ones we
baits,
just picked up, the
there's
Ike's
quite
micro
literally,
jig,
yeah, there's
and
quite literally nothing you can't
Kayak.
catch. The Kayak, yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing you can't catch. So the baits, they're really underspin, sure, but like I'd rather have an inline, right? That's why it's like there's nothing wrong with a lot of these baits, but you can get away with carrying 3 baits, and really you don't need anything else. You do not need anything else.
You could throw anything you throw on a lake technically in the river. For example, double blade, your full size spinner baits, chatter baits, any jig that you have, you could catch on those too. I would say there's times where I feel it's more appropriate if I'm wet wading fairly shallow water. Like I don't really need that. We've caught on them plenty of times. You caught on the double chat that Devo sent us. Remember that?
Yeah.
In a fairly skinny section. We were kayak fishing that time, so we had more gear on us. But if I'm wet wading and we want to keep it slim, like I'm not bringing
3 baits,
a 3600.
That's it.
I'm not bringing a 3700 size box. I don't have all that stuff. So yeah, I would go slim and trim with this. And we're also under the assumption here, what we're talking about is mostly ultralight. It's going to be ultralight spinning. It's going to be BFS.
So I should have mentioned that. What's my one rod? I love having the ultralight, but I way
You're 13
more.
fishing Omen Black.
Yeah, but like a medium light.
Black.
A medium light. It's an Omen Black. A medium light. I want to see
that one.
A 6'6" medium light, just because that allows you to Ned like an 1/8 ounce way
if
more
you're taking
effectively. If I'm just taking the one, which happens all the time,
for sure.
I'm more of an advocate of either a BFS, which is a little longer and stronger,
which is what I'll be taking,
or a medium light. Those are going to be my two recommendations to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with going ultralight. I absolutely ton of fun. Can't say no to it. I think if you take a medium spinning setup, you're way limited. You're so limited on what you can really do. And so I like the medium light. I think that's the way to go.
Like if I'm on not that we can't catch giants on the ultralight setup either, but if I want to be versatile with what I can throw and I'm bringing like just a small smorgasbord of tackle,
maybe I've got some shaky heads, maybe I've got some skirted jigs, now maybe I got some 1/4 ounce Neds. I've got in a medium light, you've got a rod that
you want to throw a whopper plopper.
Yeah, you've got in the medium light, you can find I have a rod that I would say easily handles 1/16 to 3/8. That to me is like the perfect window of like you can handle a lot of the ultralight stuff, no problem, but you can also handle the standard down bottom contact Ned and stuff like that.
For sure. So you can have a good, well-rounded setup. I'd say BFS kind of falls into that category too, for sure.
Yes.
The big freaking scam.
The old big freaking scam. So I wanted to clarify that. And I'm the only casting rig that I'm taking in the river. Again, this is wet wading, so you're not in the Mississippi. Like you're gonna be in a smaller stream.
Some people are.
Yeah, but not often. I mean,
You
most
mean
times
just
when you talk about Mississippi, you're talking about a giant piece of water. I'm talking about
you
a
just mean wait if we're wet waiting. I
if
got
you're
you.
wet wading, you're
Yep.
going to be in a smaller piece of water. So I'm not taking casting gear. I don't need to make a lot of long casts.
Hmm.
I need something that's going to manage a fish in current. So I like the medium light, no casting gear, spinning gear only, unless it's BFS. So
Yep.
that's just again where most of the time when we're wet wading, that's the type of situation we're talking about.
For
Should we
sure.
talk tactics, like how we actually do this?
Yeah. So tactics is interesting because with rivers, there's a lot of different access points, and it's a
Hmm.
long stretch of water. You think about a lake, and you're like, oh, I got like this spot, that spot, that spot, right? With a river, the whole thing's a gosh dang spot. First of all, second of all, like you're gonna focus first on your access point, like where am I getting on this water? So you're looking for those parks, you're looking for those drop-ins, you're looking for public land, you're looking for recreational areas, what have you. You find that
Bridge.
spot, then you look, yeah, bridges, any bridge. Like then you're looking for the stretch, right? So what's the stretch? Where am I waiting? And then we're talking when we get into tactics here, like which direction do I go, Paul? I get on
Such
the
a big
river.
deal, man. The
Which
biggest thing,
direction?
if I were gonna boil this down to simplest terms, the easiest way to do this by far, that where you don't have to think about it, and you know you're doing it the right way.
Hmm.
You're gonna do what I would call like if you're an out and back, where
Hmm.
you're gonna get in the water, you're gonna fish or walk one direction for some period of time, and you're gonna turn around and walk back.
Yep.
That's the easiest way to make sure that you're gonna have the most amount of success. The only direction that I recommend people fish, unless you can absolutely avoid it, is to fish upriver, meaning the water is running towards you
Yep.
and you are walking into the current with the current, again, rushing at you. Reason is those fish are all facing upstream. They're never facing downstream. Even in slack water, they're maybe sideways, but that's it. They're
You can
never
cast
downstream.
right ahead of them, right
Because you
ahead
have
of
to
you,
cast
right ahead of
ahead of
them.
where that
Yeah.
fish is, so that's where they're
And it's
expecting food
coming
to come
down.
from is downstream into their
Yep.
face. So they just open their mouth in the gullet. So you want to be behind the fish when you cast ahead of the fish where it's looking for food, then it eats your bait and you catch it. That's the
Hmm.
idea. So it's so much. And the other thing too about fishing downstream, I think people forget about this until they get into like a silt stream or like some mucky bottom. Um,
You're
you are
kicking. Yeah.
everything behind you, you are clouding like crazy. So if you're fishing downstream, every step you take, you're alerting fish to your presence because stuff is pluming in the
You're
water
dropping
and
smoke
going right
bombs.
in their face. So there's just you
Yeah.
are wrecking all the water downstream of
Yep.
you. Um, so you really upstream is the only way to go. Um, and the other thing to think about, this is the biggest consideration, other than what Jeff talked about, is like where do I get in? You really have to think about and understand that you need like 4 or 5 backup locations
Yep.
because this is what's going to happen a lot of times. You're going to scout a spot online. You're going to see like, oh, public access, cool, cool, cool. You're going to hit the river and you're going to realize it's neck deep before you even get in, and it's way too
Yeah.
deep, or the current's way too strong, and you're like, I couldn't fish here if I wanted to. I will die. I'll be deceased.
So it was last year that we did that. That's when we used our packs as life preservers
Yeah,
because we got to the spot. We went down, we
which was
fended
a
off
mosquito wilderness. My
40
God,
billion mosquitoes as we were getting our
all
blood sucked
taken.
dry.
Yeah,
We hopped into the water and then we're like, oh shoot, we can't get anywhere. So then we just kind of like swam for a little bit and we couldn't find a spot. So we left, and we had walked out there too. But luckily there was like another spot we could walk around to, and we did that. Same river, different spot. That's the deal. And you find a walkable stretch, and then we had a killer day after that. It was
yep,
great.
yep. So you really, I think having backup options, like 3 or 4 options, and I mean it, 3 or 4 is like
Hmm.
can be really important. The thing to consider is like early in the year is not like in the spring is not a great time to be waiting. The water
Yeah.
is going to be high. At least this is in for like the northern
If you
half of the
got
country.
runoff,
Because you
snow
got
melt.
rain
Yeah.
runoff, snow melts, and water's actually getting pushed up through the bottom of the water table as things get warmer. So like it's just the water's high and fast, usually in the spring. So most of your best wet waiting is going to be like July, August, or
Yeah.
like summer conditions because that water's gonna be lower and slower. And it's just gonna be better fishing. And then as you get into fall, whatever your fall is, usually gonna get more rain, and then it should probably get a lot colder. So again, this is for mostly for people like Kentucky and North. But just in general, those are general conditions for like the best time, July, August.
Well, speaking of like north, south, etc., 334 Get Fishing mentions the poisonous snakes. So there are
Sure.
potentially like down south, you're more
We
so
have
than
some here
here.
too. Yeah.
We have some. Saw a giant snake actually out wet wading my lake the other day. I was like, okay, I'll go this way, you go that way.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
did. Luckily, he took off. So
You
yeah,
got
I mean,
turtles, you got all kinds of
you
stuff.
got snapper
There's
turtles, you got big turtles, you got beavers. Ran into
muskrats and
those are
beavers, and there's
scary.
all that's part of the adventure though. I
You
won't
be
lie.
aware of your surroundings, take those safety protocol measures, make sure somebody knows where you're waiting in case
Yep.
you lose your phone in the river and your, fiance tries to call you 10,000 times and gets really mad at you.
It's only happened once.
Something to consider. But yeah, you know what? Just be smart about it. And if you see a danger noodle, go the other way. Maybe
Yep.
fast.
There are some other options though. As far as like finding a spot I mean, you can do what you do with a boat, where you can park a car with two people, park a vehicle
Yeah.
both ways, or you can park your car at the top, walk down on the road, go to another access point, walk up to your car. There's a lot of options.
Yep.
We've
Be smart about
done
it.
all of these before. Just think about those things before you go do what you do. Scout out your spots if you get a chance to, but have 3 or 4 options. That's my biggest one.
Yep.
So the best places to get in, there are a lot of boat ramps on the river. You can go find them. There's like a go paddling, app where they have a
Mhm.
lot of these. The DNR, your local DNR, whatever your state and
Whatever
local
DNR
wildlife
is called.
regulator is,
Yep.
whatever they are in your area, they are going to have a lot of these posted. Or you can just call them and be like, "Hey, I want to walk in the river. Where should I fish?" And they'll tell you.
Yep.
It's not a secret for them. They want everyone out there, so
Your
they want you
local
to have a good time.
shops.
Local
You got
shops,
any
great
shops,
one.
fly shops?
Forums are not bad, honestly.
No.
Like if you just need a
Facebook
spot,
groups.
they're not bad. But I would do all those other things first.
Yeah.
And but just have a couple spots, and just don't be shy about basically saying, look, this spot is not safe. The water's too deep. I'm not feeling it. Just leave.
Yep.
Just leave. Go somewhere else. Not a big deal.
Also,
carry
look for
a towel.
dams.
Oh,
Like
dams for sure.
Dams are
Bridges.
great spots.
Parks,
Big
Jeff said
fish.
it, is probably the best of the best. A
Mhm.
park is great. No, but there's a couple caveats with all this. One, know the rules about right of way in the water. In Michigan, if you're wet, you're safe. Even if you're going through someone's private property, if you're wet, you're safe.
Yep.
And it's a river, not like a culvert or whatever. Like it's got to be a river. But if you have
Sneak up
navigable
a
water,
creek to somebody's.
if
Yeah.
you have, but if you're on a creek, you're safe. If you're wet, you're safe. But
It's
the second
water
you're
runoff.
dry, the second you're dry,
Yeah.
you are trespassing. So to
Yep.
understand the rules in your state, in your area, before you go, and just understand that any public place where you can get into a river, you can fish from there on out. And if
Yep.
you're bold enough to swim wherever you want to go, if you're wet, you're safe, at least in Michigan. So just understand the rules before you go. And then also be potentially to have leeches. However you like to handle them. Have a towel for when you're done. That's just like a
Yeah.
nice one. And don't
Yeah.
forget your sunscreen, because you're going to get blasted. And do not forget your sunglasses, because the glare
You
on the
can't see
river is
anything,
probably the
yeah.
strongest glare you're going to get fishing.
Yeah.
Nothing over
No-
50, and yeah,
No
that's the
big
rule.
sunscreen.
No
Down
big
with 'em.
sunscreen around here. That's
All
it for
right.
wet wading, and then just like have fun. And don't
Yep.
bring a net. I mean, you can if you want to. I recommend don't.
Yeah. I mean, if you're on big fish waters, maybe. I find to pair with what Paul's saying, like every time we've brought a net, we haven't used it once. And we've caught some decent pike wet wading where we just, you know what?
It just
I'm just gonna
complicates things.
pick it up. it's
It
a
compli- it
fun little
complicates.
challenge.
I'll tell you right now, when you have a fish, a fishing rod, a net, and now you got to hold your armpit, your rod, and then you got to get your pliers. Like you are,
Yep.
you
It's a
got pliers.
mess.
Like it is a mess.
Stuff is gonna
mess.
go downriver
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Cool. So that's waiting. I mean, that's like our major way of doing it. That's
the
what
best.
we
It's
ideally
so great.
do. The other option is you can float it, and I feel like it's gonna have to be a different
It
episode.
must have to be a different episode.
I think what we could touch on, we'll skip the mid-show segment and talk about this, would be like if you guys, if you're kayak fishing, right? Let's just jump to kayaks, because you can take a river boat, right? You got bigger water, you're taking a boat. You could also, what definitely fly guys like to do, but you can also obviously conventional from them, inflatables. You got those really nice rafts like Smith Fly and stuff like that all the way down that you can float with, just using big oars to guide yourself around the river. That's what our buddy Ted does over on the flat, which is cool. And we've had a chance to go on them. Nice flat decks, pretty darn stable. We'll ride over the skinniest of water, even with 3 dudes in it. Like you can cover some water. It's awesome. And then kayak. So I think where I'd want to go with this is like, if anybody has any opinions on those river kayaks. So somebody called out the Moken 12.5. That's feel free.
Mhm.
These river kayaks we're definitely interested in. We kind of came to the consensus, like, really like my Hobie. It's kind of a Bentley. It is kind of gigantic, but I would also like to have a manageable kayak that's lightweight, that we can run slim and trim in, and we can go especially hit the river. So the river kayak jumped up our list. That's the number one priority right now. We already mentioned we're looking at like the Crescent Shoaly, RVR 119. These are obviously great options. There's other ones out there. So I'm definitely interested to hear from you guys. If you kayak a river, what do you do it in? Do you like it? Are you on the market for any river kayaks? Let us know what you guys are thinking here in chat. And while you're doing that, like with the kayak, we could probably call this out. When I say slim and trim, why would we go like slim and trim on the river? What's kayak fishing on a lake versus a river like for you, Paul?
I definitely take about a quarter of the tackle, and I've been doing
Yeah.
that for probably 2 seasons
Yep.
straight. Like where I am when we go river fishing, it's the same thing as wet wading. It's just upsized a little bit, so it's 1 full size box of hard baits, 1 like Busby size cube of the cube full of soft plastics, and
Yep.
then some terminal. I mean, that's it though. That is it. And I think the biggest stuff that's different, I usually still do take 4 to 6 rods though. That's probably the biggest difference. I still take a full complement of rods. And
Yep.
then the other thing is like your backup paddle is almost more necessary on the river. I'm extra nervous about not having a backup paddle on the river.
Are you saying you've been with someone in a scenario where said main paddle has broken and they haven't had a backup paddle?
I've seen it happen, and I've
And
seen
that
it where
person
people
was
should have,
very angry.
and I've seen it where someone.
Uh-oh. Paul. No. Chaz, is he gone? Is he dead? Is he in the beyond? All right, shoot. Well, what Paul was gonna say is,
I'm here.
oh, no way.
Way.
Back. All right, Chaz, your thoughts on bringing an extra paddle? Go ahead.
He's
Chaz.
frozen too. Oh my god.
I don't
Um,
paddle at
I also
all,
think
so
the biggest difference is an anchor. My anchor system is way more important. So having a drag chain or some kind of anchor system, even if you're a stationary guy, way almost more important than the lake, I think.
Something that you can drag chains, especially something that's not going to get hung up on all of the insane amount of cover that's on a river. Because I can tell you guys, once upon a time ago, I used a power pole micro on the river, and I got stuck.
Awful.
I was stuck because it's supposed to have an emergency release, so the motor wouldn't lift the pole, and therefore I was just pinned. And I couldn't get the emergency release to kick off, so I was straight up stuck.
You were leaning back, use the manual cord, but yeah, it wasn't great.
I did. I had to get up, turn around in a river
Yeah.
with a high current that day. It was
It
not
was
ideal.
high.
It was very fast. So I did not want to be moving, but I had to get up, turn around, get the thing to release, and then like jump back in my seat and steer. It was insane. So yeah, be smart about it. Drag chains are super cheap. We love the Anchor Wizard. Anchor Wizard's been great to us. Some of these like new river kayaks have it like already rigged up, ready to go for something like that. And that's cool. I love that.
I don't understand. I still don't. I mean, I'm admitting ignorance. I still don't understand why you want an anchor in the front of the boat.
Because it would turn your boat. I'm just thinking out loud here. It would turn your boat around and then you're casting upstream.
Downstream.
No, you'd be upstream because the current's pushing you this way.
But you're below where your anchor is.
Yeah. So you're casting upstream. You're looking upstream. Chaz, am I having a stroke? Am I okay? When you're drifting down,
Yeah, I
you're
gotcha.
facing down the
Yeah.
stream. So you're at best fan casting. You're hitting angles.
So this
Or you
is
can turn around and go upstream, but you're turned around in your boat. But if you have your anchor in the front,
I get
you're
that.
going backwards downriver. So
I guess
casting
it does
upstream.
depend on how big the water is. Because in
Mm,
small water, I would not want my boat to have gone past where I'm going to cast.
100%. I don't want to be
Yeah.
turned around backwards, hit a
No.
bend, run into a tree. Right? Sure.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
But
about
if it's fairly wide, if I can
Yeah.
control it pretty good, if I have, I mean, that I need a maneuverable boat, you know, maybe that shorter, like nicer boat, like a Crescent Shoaly or RVR or whatever, maybe I can turn around real fast paddling. Or if I'm in my 360, I feel okay as long as
Yeah.
the current's not crazy and it's not too shallow. But yeah, not being able to see what I'm going into, sure.
But I get it now,
But
especially
if you're
on bigger water. I got it.
If you're drifting, that's one thing. If you're pinned to that spot, yeah,
If you're pinned to
able
that spot, it's probably it's
you can
super
park
nice.
and cast upstream, man.
And I guess it does depend on whether you're paddling. Like if you're paddling upstream, it'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, 100%. I love that moment we just had. Like, wait, no, what?
Well, I'm so used to.
It's like the beautiful mind, just like all the
Yeah,
numbers on the
100%.
board.
But I'm
Like,
trying. What was bothering me about it? What was bothering me about it was that your boat is going to, if you're going downstream,
right.
which obviously this might not be the deal, but if you're going downstream, it's interesting that I don't like the idea of your boat passing your casting spot before you would cast at it. But it totally makes sense. You're going upstream, you see a spot, you go a little bit past where you might want to sit to cast, drop your anchor or whatever, and then you cast it. That totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you have a clear casting position too because it's the front of your boat.
Yep.
Right, so you're not.
Oh, I like that.
Knocking your rods in the side because whenever you do that back cast on the river, I'm always like, what am I gonna hit?
100%. That makes a lot more sense now. I'm glad we had this discussion.
Me too, bro. Me too. All right, well, let's do this. Let's roll into the schmiv-away time, y'all.
Yes.
I think we could definitely get into an episode talking about floating the river. I think I'd prefer to do that with one of our friends who floats the river for a living. Maybe we get Ted back on here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ted's a fun guest. So we'll see if we can get Ted back on. We also definitely want to go fishing with him real soon. He's just sending us river fishing porn all the time. And I'm like, bro, calm down with those 40-inch pike, you jerk. Like, he's just killing it, man.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do that. He would put us on some good fish. It could be a blast. So let's do some slow rolling thunder. Y'all have been here before. You know the rules. If you haven't been here before, the rules are this. We got a few fun questions. They're slightly off topic. We're going to ask each other these questions and talk about them. It's slow rolling, not lightning. All right. So we're going to spend some time on that. While we do that, all of you guys need to be chit-chatting. You got to type something in the chat window here because we're going to do a random draw for the winner of the schmiv-away, which is a gift card from Monster Bass. So it's $25, good to monsterbass.com, good for anything except the subscription. We always recommend, if you had your eyes on a rod, get a lunker stick. Use the $25, put it towards that. It makes it an extremely insanely reasonable price, and we'd highly recommend them. We are rocking them every trip we go out right now, and we are big fans. Used a lot of different brands before. These things are awesome, light, comfortable, and they absolutely catch fish. And what more do you need than that? All right, let's get into Slow Rolling Thunder. Oh, and if you win the schmiv-away, do what's on the screen. Chaz is telling you how to do it. All right, cool. Let's get into it. First question.
Is sparkling water actually good? I need to know. The people
Objectively, no. Objectively, no. It's not good.
Objectively, it's quite average. It's mid AF.
The best description I can't even remember where this originated from.
A whisper of a flavor.
We've all heard that, right? So it's a whisper. LaCroix, the scientists at
Everyone
LaCroix,
is saying no. Someone said barf no. Hero.
They literally they cut a lemon, right? Hear me out. And they whisper a secret across it to the drift its essence into carbonated water. Yes, that's it. No, it's not. Do I drink it? Yes, I do. Absolutely, I do because
Someone
I
just said
need
it.
something.
Someone said the only reason this makes Braun 1PL. I have no idea what that means.
How are you even
It
reading that?
it's a good replacement for pop if you don't want to drink pop, but you
That's what I
want
was
the
gonna say.
carbonation. That is it
Mhm.
for me. I don't want to drink
Only
garbage,
reason.
and I'm like, all right, fine. What's
Yep.
not garbage? That's not water in this case because I want some flavor.
Yep.
And then yeah, but like someone else said it, Channel Tompkins or Chanel Tompkins, be water or be pop.
Be
Fair.
water or
Fair.
be pop.
Totally friggin' fair, dude.
Oh no, she
Um,
came back and said, "I mean soda." No.
I had so
Come
I
back and
had
say, "I mean Coke."
what you get it.
You get
I
it.
like it though.
Uh,
I had one today. I had one yesterday. There's like a lemon lime one. It actually kind of tastes like it has alcohol in it already, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm having an alcoholic beverage, even though I'm not. It wasn't bad.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, it's also if you've ever mixed it as an alcoholic beverage, you
Yeah,
basically just taste the alcohol with bubbles,
that's
which
what I
is
never. So
which
Ocean
is
State
not
goes when you
good.
pull alcohol in it. Yes, I'm like no, but then it's just alcohol with fizz. Like I don't. I'm
It
not.
is, it
I
is,
don't.
it
I'll
is.
never. I'm not the. I am not the person who gets like a vodka soda. When I see
Yep.
someone that orders vodka soda, I'm like,
Just drink vodka, bro.
just get a shot,
They're
my
trying to slow
dude.
down. They're trying to slow down.
Don't.
You gotta
I
juice,
know
like,
that it's a thing. It's
3
just
whole
not my thing.
limes. You gotta juice
It.
3 whole limes to
I
make up
don't.
for it.
Oh God.
Yeah, sparkling water, LaCroix, etcetera, not good, not
I
good, but I've
appreciate that they're.
tried
I
a ton of
appreciate
them.
that they're here. They're just
Yep,
not here for me. All right. Cool.
so interesting.
This is my biggest treat to myself.
It is, it's so it's like a reward.
It's
It's
like
like
a reward. It 100% is, man.
every
This
time
is it.
Paul grabs a Coke, I'm like, "Oh my god, he's rewarding
Look,
himself."
no, that's not true at all. It's
It's
like
like a
one out of
treat.
every. It's like one every three,
He gets to hang out
maybe.
with his friends and drink a Coke.
That's not true at all, Chas. I know when the
Stop
last one I had was.
stop spreading misinformation.
All
Gosh. Alright,
right, we're gonna do this next
no,
one, and then we're gonna do the
true.
giveaway.
Alright, so
After this, don't do the
don't
giveaway
just
yet,
roll it.
but
We're
be
gonna ask the
ready.
question first, then you roll it after we,
All
do the
right,
question. Let us know.
this one should be pretty quick. Are kayak cushions worth it?
Kayak cushions being the brand Kayak cushion specifically, or
Well,
just a pillow that I put under my booty
yeah, some kind
on a
of
kayak chair?
cushion for a kayak chair.
I think in general, are they worth it? Well, yeah, because you can get them super cheap. If you get the kayak cushion, which I don't how
Like
much is a kayak?
$50, I think.
$50. All right. Well, if we're what? If we're, if we're talking about that,
Like, well, you said an aneurysm.
my brain just exploded financially.
So you just pop a blood vessel.
I'll never recover from this financially.
I think so.
Whoa!
Here's my theory.
I've never used one.
Even with the cheap
Never.
ones, I've
Mhm.
not used one either. I would say only when you have an only plastic seat. Like if you bought a really inexpensive kayak and you just need a pad.
It's
I
necessary.
think any of them are all of a sudden necessary. I would
Yep.
even recommend going so far as just gluing yours to the butt of your seat. And the
I've done
reason I say that even the cheap ones are not worth it for like a good kayak seat, in
that. Yep.
addition to a good kayak seat, the good kayak seats are very good. With a cushion, I feel like you're just sliding around. I imagine you just being like,
Yeah.
I would be like annoyed managing it, and then I would be annoyed because I'd forget it. It's one more thing to remember. I already have 100 things on my checklist. I don't need to add that to it.
Yeah, it might get
And B Dooley goes 10K
staples.
and a kayak and $50 for a kayak seat blows your mind. I'm like, good point.
Fair.
Good, good point.
At this point, B Dooley, everything blows my mind. If it's $1, I'm like, yo,
It's
we
a good
already broke
point.
the
It's a
bank.
good point.
I cannot. No, you can't look at life that way, bro.
Look,
Already
I
spent
can't in
10
good
grand.
conscience, I can't argue that point. You're right.
I argue it. I argue it because any additional dollar at this point is too many dollars more. Like it's, I hear you, but I
I think
don't.
he's right. All right,
But
Chaz. I
good
think
point.
consensus is we're not sure, but probably not. All right, Chaz, run the giveaway if you would, good sir. Ramon.
No
Ramon
way.
Outdoors is the winner. All right,
That's so
brother.
funny. Yo,
Hey,
did you see he
Ramon,
just did
hold
a
on.
video? He just did a
He
video
did,
where
yes.
so he has a series right now where he's fishing like YouTube anglers that he likes to watch, and he did
He never said that. He just said like YouTubers. He never said he likes to watch us.
all right. He said he fishes like YouTubers that he thinks are stupid and terrible at their
Nailed
jobs.
it.
And we were the first episode. No, he did so he did Creek Fishing Adventures. He did an
Yep.
episode with them, with the I think the Sherbert worm, Yum
Yeah.
Dinger. And then he did the Ned rig, the Shark Deuce, no less. And he doesn't
Is
even
he-
fish it that much. So that's
Is
cool.
he here?
Oh no, what if he left? That would be the most depressing thing.
I think he even may have said, "I have to leave now."
Oh no.
Can we just give it to him? We know him. He was here. We have all his info already. I'm giving it to him. I'm giving it to him.
What?
Right?
Only
Come on.
because
It's Ramon.
he did do a video and he tagged.
He was here. Yeah, and he fished like us. Come on.
He fished the Shark
Yeah, and he
Deuce.
hooked us up earlier.
Yep. He did do a super chat. He did fish the Shark Deuce. So we're bypassing the rules,
I
which
want
we made
him-
up, and we're letting him do
Be
it.
duly devil's advocate. Rules are rules. Rules are meant to be broken. God's advocate. I would say. I would say.
Hang on. Chaz, how many viewers? Then we'll decide if rules are rules. Nope. Rules are not
No.
rules.
Rules-
Rules are more like guidelines, anyways.
Jesus advocate. Ramon is getting it. I think that. I think. Okay, I love it. I do have. Can we ask our last question? Then we'll keep it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do one more for the road.
All right, last one for the road. This one you guys actually have to listen to. How in the world should we get ready to fish in Alabama in freaking November? I don't even know what that means. Do you have
One,
any idea? In November, my
fish.
kayak's put away for the year.
Yep. 1, never fished in Alabama. 2, never fished a trophy lake. Period. None of them. Not one.
Yeah.
3, the kayak's in hibernation, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so-
Snorlax is in a cave somewhere.
if you're on our
What
start
do I
chewing-
do?
Start chewing tobacco.
Well, I'm on. I'm
Steven,
already ahead of
alright,
you there.
got it.
Way ahead of you.
What
dude.
kind? Grizzly?
No, it doesn't matter.
Grizzly
It doesn't
specifically?
matter. Way
Long
ahead of
cut?
you. I could do the loose leaf. I could do the power. It doesn't matter.
We
But
go loose
this-
leaf?
Oh,
Bro.
you know me and
Red
we
Man?
the red man and I have a
Oh,
relationship.
no. Oh no. Will that make us better? Then I'm in. I'm doing it. Move
won't.
down to Alabama. Okay, Odyssey. Sure. I will set up our
No. Get
HQ.
fishing says top water, A rigs, swim baits.
Okay. Top water swim baits done. Can do that. A rigs have not figured that out. Not a clue. Will I throw it? Absolutely. No, not the live target bait ball. No, thank you. But
D says you could always watch some YouTube videos. We're going to, but like I need it for like that week.
You're telling me. that
I need
people
it
on
for
the
like
internet
that. I
do
need
this?
it for like that week.
Yep. Mountain shoe.
Hey, good call. He goes,
yes,
to get our
watch
Monster Bass
videos.
when he gets some from Alabama on. That's a good tip. How similar are Georgia and Alabama? Because we could get some people.
Yeah. All right.
A rigs. Everyone's saying A rigs.
I mean, it is the Alabama rig, right? So that makes
Fair
total
enough. I think I only have 2 A rigs.
we just bring 6 setups with A rigs tied on. We're like,
Why do you
"All right,
guys have
listen,
all? Why do you guys have
men in
all
Alabama."
heavy mag heavy? What's happening?
Yeah, you know what's happening. Spinners, top water, hook size 4. I mean, you're speaking my language now. Like I can get that, D's. What else? BFS A rig, the triple A rig.
I'm sorry. That is amazing.
Right?
We could make
Make a
one.
triple A rig,
Can we make an 1/8 of an ounce A rig?
and it's all chartreuse. The triple A rig,
Dude,
all chartreuse and purple.
bro, I'm not.
Stay
I'm
tuned,
not-
you guys.
I'm not met. Hold on a minute.
Write it down. Triple A
Who
rig.
could make us a BFS A rig?
Let's talk to Bait Finesse Empire. They've
I
been
already
chatting.
know how I want I already wrote down. This is what it's going to be called. I'm going to type it in a chat.
I can't wait till it comes out and everybody hates it because it's BFS.
That's what we have to. That's what we have to. That's how we have to name it.
The A rig, like A Ron. Hey, A Ron. Okay. So it sounds like Alabama A rigs. We're gonna come in with BFS
Why
and
not?
ultralight, and everybody's gonna be like, "What?"
What
And
is
then we're gonna
happening?
catch trophy fish, and our teams are gonna win.
Dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
He can't. No.
He's not gonna make an A rig. I was like, hear
Not
me
gonna
out.
make an. I
I
need
want
one
you to
that's
make something you're not gonna sell,
how
and just
so
for
that
me.
the A rig weight would have to be like 1/32
116.
of an ounce or
What?
1/16 because you'd have to add a
No,
bunch of jigs.
132, 160,
1/64 maybe, and then you have a whole bunch of 64th ounce jigs.
132s. Alabama. What's the hook rule in Alabama? Is it 3? Can you have 3, 4, 5? I don't know. The umbrella rig is technically 5, right? Like we can have 5 in Michigan. I know a lot of states they can have 1.
That's all I
maybe
really
3.
care about.
So if it's, let's say it's 3, you run
We have
like
to have one with 3
3
and one with 5. How about that?
132s.
One with 3 and one with
Yeah.
5.
All right. So 3, 3, 4 get fish and says 5. So we have 5 hooks.
Done.
All 132s and then a
No, all
164.
180s.
All 180s
Yeah.
and a 132 head.
No, maybe.
You need to. You're gonna be on the
I don't know.
surface.
I don't think you do need to. I think you
do.
only need to have at the front. I think you only need to have like a 16th.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the whole thing's like a quarter ounce?
5 hooks, 5 rigs.
This is freaking so cool. I want one so bad. I want one so bad. My whole body needs one
man.
so bad. Wait,
You better
Dee says
write
there's so many of those and new ones I've seen. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
what?
These already exist?
A BFS A rig?
Hold
We're gonna talk
on.
about the live target bait ball. Don't come at me with that.
Ultralight A rig.
BFS A rig. Prove it. Shane's bait mini finesse umbrella rig.
You could just go buy them?
These are not BFS, you guys. These are not ultralight. This one isn't. A mini is how many ounces? $25. All right. It doesn't say how many. It's
What's happening?
there's no weight on this.
Yeah, there's no weight on this light one either.
Prove it. All right. Once we see the link, prove it. There ain't no way. Oh, well.
I need to know.
Yo, I got it. Did you just say aluminium? Get out of
Mini
here with that
finesse.
nonsense, Chaz.
What's mini finesse?
This is
3.5
crazy. that there's-
inches. The whole thing is 6 inches. Where's the weight, you friggin' turds?
Are you looking at Shane's bait?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a weight on any of them. I wonder if it's just the wire. Could be. Maybe there's no jig head weight. So weird. Anyways, we're gonna look into this, you guys. Oh, look at that. We went down a rabbit hole for no reason. Never mind. All right. So it doesn't exist, as far as I know. We're gonna find out.
I'm seeing them.
These are not BFS, bro. You ain't got no weight. The mini doesn't mean that it's like light at all. These like
light wire.
The hog farmer, dude, it's light wire and 3 hooks. That's the mini. That's the mini part of it.
But how big is the head?
It's probably half an ounce. Quarter at best. Doesn't matter. And they're not rated for that anyways. So yeah, we gonna figure it out. AAA rig coming your way. Anyways, that's it. That's all the slow rolling thunder we got. Some dude on Reddit made some. Okay. We'll keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking into it. AAA rig. We're gonna make a BFS rod too with monster bass. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fun, you guys. Paul is now literally in the rabbit hole, so he's going to be comatose for a little while here while he
Striper
does this
sniper.
research. Gosh dang it. Anyways, it's been
This is
fun.
3 ounces. You're out of your mind.
Buddy, let's sign off. Relax. All right.
Oop.
This is 3 ounces. You're out of your mind. All right. We're calling it for tonight. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back again next Wednesday. We do have a members only live also on Tuesday. So if you guys are a member, I see all you green names in here. So if you are a member, join us Tuesday. It'll be at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, our new standard time that we're doing. So we look forward to hanging out with you guys as well. Do a special schmiv away for you. You know the deal. It's going to be a blast, and we'll give you some insider stuff, some behind the curtain things that we don't talk about on the regular show. So if you want to join that, you can click join below if you want to find out more. Appreciate y'all. We will see you next Wednesday. And Chaz, take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye?